Thanks for joining. In the next few minutes, we are going to see how to run a Jenkins container over Docker engine and platform, and that too using the Docker Compose. So basically, there are two goals we are going to achieve by the end of this video. We are going to run the Jenkins Docker container for our production environment. And then the second one is we are going to implement it using Docker Compose, and then we'll also discuss the benefits of using Docker Compose over Docker run command. So I have switched over to my terminal, and the first thing we are going to check is whether our machine has Docker engine installed or not. The easiest way to identify that is we'll just run a command docker, and if it responds with the available commands, then definitely Docker is installed already onto our machine. If it is not installed onto your machine, I recommend that you go to the documentation available at docs.docker.com install, and this has pretty much very good documentation available to install Docker onto various platforms, let it be Mac operating system, Windows, or Linux. Step is to connect ourselves with the hub.docker.com, which is the repository for Docker images. This is going to be our source from where we are going to pull our Jenkins image. To integrate with the Docker Hub repository, we can use the command docker login. If you already haven't provided the credentials before, then it will ask for username and password. For me, it is just saying login succeeded because I have provided those credentials before. Now I'm switching over to the Docker Hub, and inside Docker Hub repository, we can go to explore, and with explore we can search for Jenkins related images. There are many images available though. This one says it is an official image of Jenkins, but if you go inside this, the last tag, the latest tag was updated around 2 years ago, and even when you proceed and download and run this image, it is definitely going to fail in loading many plugins. Most of those users has reported this. So basically now the official image for Jenkins is Jenkins/Jenkins. This is updated about a day ago, and then when you go inside, there is a docker pull command available for this, and there is a documentation also available over here. If you see the tags, the latest tag was updated around 44 minutes ago, and there are so many other tags also available for the same. Now we are going to do some setup at the local machine. So to do that, I'll just create a directory called Jenkins, and then I'll change my directory to Jenkins. Here I'm going to prepare my Docker Compose YAML file. Okay, inside this Docker Compose YAML file, we are going to write some statements such as the version number of Docker Compose. We are going to list out the services we are going to execute, the name of the service we are going to run is Jenkins, image that we'll use for this is Jenkins LTS. The ports we are going to consume are port number 8080, and we are mapping the port number 8080 for my local machine with the port number 8080 of Docker container, which it is going to expose. The another port number we are going to use is 50,000, and this is for build execution purposes. Since we are talking about setting this up into production environment, the data becomes important too. That is why we will create a Docker volume separately for that. So in case we have to kill the container, or in case we lose the container, we don't lose the data along with that. So Jenkins underscore home, let's say, is going to be the volume for Docker, which will be created if it is not created already in advance. So Jenkins underscore home. Okay, Jenkins. So this basically says that Jenkins underscore home is a volume for Docker which will be mapped to var variable Jenkins underscore home directory of Docker container that will be run. And then we are just declaring volumes Jenkins underscore home, and that's it. We are going to save it further. We have identified the Docker image that we are going to use and how we are going to run it using Docker Compose. So currently I am in directory Jenkins, which I created, and we do have Docker Compose YAML file also inside this. Now we are going to run the stack Docker Compose up. We want to run this as a background process, that's why we'll use -d for this, and we can hit command. Now if you see, it is pulling the Jenkins LTS image from Docker Hub. This is going to take a while. I'll pause the video until then. Fine. So our Jenkins LTS image is pulled completely and is successful and has created a container with name Jenkins underscore one. Now we can verify the same if our Docker container is created. Docker ps. So yes, it is created. All the port numbers in use are being shown over here, and how we can access that. So now we can verify whether our Jenkins is up or not using the browser. So I'll go to browser dot 0 port number 8080, and because we are logging in first time into the Jenkins, it will ask us to fetch the first time admin password from this location. Now this location is available inside the container. There are two ways that, because we have already mirrored the volume into Docker also, the var Jenkins home, we can fetch this file from the local volume of container, or we can directly get it from the container itself. So to start with, we can execute a command docker exec Jenkins underscore one cat and then the path for that file, and we can hit enter, and this is where our first admin password reside. I'll just copy this and paste it into Jenkins, hit enter, and that's it. We'll say install suggested plugins so that it can proceed with it. Alright, so here is a quick summary of what we have seen today. The first point is about the Docker installation and Docker Hub login if that is not achieved already. The second point is to identify the Docker image at Docker Hub, the image that we are going to use for our Docker container. Third point is about creating directory and the Docker Compose YAML file is stating all configurations related to port numbers and volumes and images that we are going to use. And then the fourth point was we ran and reviewed our Jenkins instance. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the video, please subscribe and feel free to leave the comments. Thank you.